warrior. I am up in arms, and you should be also. New York State wants to legalize pimping, trafficking, brothel owning, illicit spas, and sex buying. Now it's time I swing back around. We've spoken about this before, but I now want to talk about it every single day. I want you to understand what is going on in New York State and how important it is, because you may not live in New York State, but believe you me, they're counting to pass this legislation in New York State, and the many states will follow. Now, it'll be called the legalization of prostitution, and that sounds rather innocuous, and that sounds like the same argument that I hear from everybody: my body, my choice, let women and men do what they want, it doesn't matter, adults. I'm not talking about that. Did you hear what I started out by saying? New York State wants to legalize pimping, trafficking. That is really at the core of this bill. We have various studies where prostituted people are anywhere from 91 to 97% forced into the sex trade. Force, fraud, coercion is the definition of human trafficking. But here's what I want you to understand. The demand is for children. I can't tell you about this enough. It is very simple, supply and demand. If this legislation is passed, supply and demand, more children will be trafficked. There's a lot of buzz about this already, that children are being warehoused around New York waiting for this legislation to be passed. Why, after all, sex workers, that's what they're now calling kids. A child cannot consent. A child cannot be a sex worker. A child in our Warriors book cannot be a prostitute because they are a minor. They cannot consent. So I want everybody to be aware. If you are in New York State especially, you are to go to equalitymodelnewyork.org, equalitymodelnewyork.org. It is a coalition. The Warriors is there along with colleagues. This is not a right or a left issue. This is a bipartisan issue. We must protect our children. We must protect all people. Please, if you're in New York, add your name to equalitymodelnewyork.org, where it says sign up. Lend your zip code. Lend your name. We need power in numbers. If you're not in New York, I want you to know about this, because there is that underlying buzz. It is coming to a town near you. We know what this is all about. This is more of the normalization of the sexualization of children, of the sex trade. We need to hold sex buyers accountable. I am talking right now about children who cannot consent. We need to keep people who commit these crimes against children in jail, and we need to all be educated and raise awareness with our neighbors, with our family members, what is going on. My biggest fear is I will wake up one day and this legislation will be passed, because it's been bubbling around for about 3 years now in the background. I'm not hearing a lot about it lately. Remember, something I heard my husband say recently, and it was something to the effect like this: those who yell the loudest, you don't have to be afraid of. It's when those who are quiet, and because there's such silence lately around this, it scares me. Lynn'sWarriors.org is the place to be to learn more. Also, EqualityModelNewYork.org is the place to learn more about Sex Trade Survivors Justice and Equality Act. That is the bipartisan legislation sponsored by Senator Liz Krueger in New York and also Assemblymember Pam Hunter, that we are countering this sex worker act that they're pushing on everybody. The media is complicit in this. Various groups who are well-financed are complicit in this. I want all of us to know what's going on. Do not allow New York State to legalize pimping, human trafficking, and sex trafficking of our children. Remember, wherever there's money to be made, that's what's happening. And these are our precious kids, teens, our youth. If you have not subscribed, I'm going to ask you. I always forget. I should say subscribe at the top of this video. Please subscribe. 50% of our viewers, I look at the analytics, are not subscribed. And you need to be power in numbers. We are building momentum. We are building awareness. We are building education. And that is exactly what is needed. So while the world is seemingly all distracted with the Sean Combs, because that's what I call him. I don't call him P. Diddy. I don't call him Puff Daddy. I call him Sean Combs. And other issues, we're going to stick on this. Please, equalitymodelnewyork.org. Remember our hashtag, community creates change. Join us. And always be a warrior.